If you found a tape with your own face on it, would you still press play? I used to work late shifts in the university library in Edinburgh. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid for rent and let me study in peace. The archives were the worst part. Cold, dusty rooms in the basement where old books and microfilm reels gathered cobwebs. Most students never saw them. I did, every night. One evening, I was down there sorting through returned journals when I noticed it. A VHS tape, tucked between two law volumes. No label, just the words "Play Me" scrawled in black marker. I laughed nervously, probably some prank left behind by a bored student, but something about it felt wrong. The handwriting jagged, desperate. I should have ignored it. I didn't. Upstairs, the library was deserted. Midnight. Just the buzz of fluorescent lights and the whir of the ancient VHS player in the media room. I slid the tape in. At first, static. Then the picture sharpened. It was the library. This library. Grainy, black and white. The camera fixed at a wide angle, showing rows of desks and flickering lights. And then, me. I was on the screen, sitting at one of the desks. Same clothes I was wearing, same messy hair. I stared at the screen, then back at the empty room around me, then back at the screen. My double on the tape sat perfectly still, staring straight ahead. Behind them, behind me, something moved. A shadow between the shelves, crawling, slow. I spun in my chair. Empty aisles, nothing. On the tape, the shadow grew taller, closer. I whispered, "This isn't real." The figure on the tape turned its head, not toward the shadow, toward me, toward the camera. Its eyes locked on mine. I felt my stomach drop. The tape cut to static. I ejected it, hands shaking. But when I looked down, the cassette wasn't blank anymore. A new label had appeared. My name. I shoved it back onto the shelf and bolted. The next night, curiosity dragged me back. The tape was gone. I told myself I'd imagined it. Stress, sleep deprivation, whatever. Until last week. I was shelving returns when a student approached me, pale, shaking. "Excuse me," she whispered. "I found this in the archives." She handed me a VHS tape. The label said "Play Me," and beneath it, in the same jagged handwriting, was my name. When I touched it, the plastic was warm. I haven't played it again. I don't dare. But sometimes, when the lights flicker, I see a shadow move between the shelves. And I swear, it's getting closer every night. If a lift opened on a floor that doesn't exist, would you step out? I clean office buildings at night. Quiet work. Empty corridors, the hum of lights, the smell of polish and bleach. One of my regular jobs was a glass tower block in Glasgow. 12 floors. I knew it well. Too well. But last winter, during a midnight shift, I found out the building wasn't what it seemed. I was mopping a lobby when the lift pinged. Doors slid open. Empty. Nothing unusual. I wheeled my cart inside, pressed 7. The lift groaned upwards. Numbers lit up one by one. 5, 6, 7. Then, instead of stopping, it carried on. 8, 9, 10. I frowned. My finger hovered over the panel. But the buttons were different. There was one I'd never seen before. A number glowing faintly in red. 13. The building only had 12 floors. The lift slowed. My chest tightened. Ding. The doors slid open. A corridor stretched out, dimly lit. Same layout as the other floors, but wrong. The walls were cracked. Wallpaper peeling. Ceiling lights flickering. The air smelled of rot and damp. I whispered, "Nope, not doing this." But before I could press ground, I saw it. On the wall opposite the lift hung a frame. A photograph of me. I stepped out, legs shaking. The corridor was lined with photos. Dozens, hundreds. all in cracked frames. At first, they looked like old staff portraits. Men in suits, women in dresses, dates scrawled beneath them. But as I walked further, the photos grew more recent. Hairstyles I recognized, clothes from the 90s, the 2000s, and then people I knew. The security guard who'd retired last year, the receptionist who'd quit suddenly, the old cleaner who used to work my shift before me, all of them staring blankly from their frames. I whispered, This can't be real." At the very end of the corridor was the newest photo. Still damp, fresh. Me, my throat locked. Behind me, the lift doors slid shut. The corridor lights flickered. One by one, the photos seemed to move. Eyes shifting, mouths twitching, faces bending in unnatural smiles. I ran, pounded on the lift doors, hammering the button. When they finally opened, I hurled myself inside and stabbed ground. The lift plunged. My ears popped. When the doors opened again, I was back in the lobby. Bright, clean, normal. But when I glanced back at the panel, the 13 button was gone. I told no one. But last week, I was cleaning the same building when the lift pinged. The doors opened, and someone was standing inside. Not someone. Me, holding a mop, smiling. I didn't get in. But I know one day I won't have a choice. If you walked into your home and realized it wasn't yours, would you even notice in time? I live in Birmingham. Small flat, nothing fancy. 2 rooms, peeling wallpaper, a sofa that's seen better days. It's mine. One night, after a long shift and a couple of pints, I came home around midnight, fumbled with the keys, stumbled up the stairs, shoved the door open. Everything looked normal. My coat rack, my sofa, even the dent in the wall from when I dropped the lamp months back. I kicked off my shoes, muttered to myself, "Home sweet home." But then, I noticed something odd. The photo frame on the shelf. It looked the same wooden border, same spot of chipped paint. But the photo inside wasn't mine. It showed a family I'd never seen before. Smiling. 4 of them. Parents and 2 kids. I stared at it, my head swimming. That's not right. I brushed it off. Maybe I was drunk. Maybe I'd grabbed the wrong frame at the market. I raided the fridge. That's when the dread really hit. Inside were neatly stacked containers, labeled with dates. Meals I'd never cooked. Food I'd never bought. I whispered, "Whose fridge is this?" My pulse raced. I tried to tell myself I'd walked into the wrong flat. But no, the dent in the wall was there. My dent. My scuff marks. My keys had worked. I sat on the sofa, clutching my head. The door creaked. Footsteps. I shot upright. A man stepped inside, keys in hand. Same tired look I probably had after a shift. He froze when he saw me. "What the hell are you doing in my flat?" he demanded. This is my flat," I stammered. "I live here." His face twisted. "No, mate, I live here. Get out before I call the police." I backed toward the door, heart pounding. "Listen, this is number 23B, right?" He nodded. "That's my flat. Been here 2 years." His eyes narrowed. "Same, 2 years. You need to leave." We stood there, staring at each other. And then I saw it. The man, his face. It was mine. Not just similar, not just a lookalike. It was me. Every scar, every line. The same tired eyes staring back. My voice faltered. This isn't possible." He spoke in the exact same tone. "No, it's not." The lights flickered. When they came back on, he was gone. I was alone again. The fridge empty. The photo frame back to normal. I laughed nervously, clutching my head. I'm losing it. But last night, I came home again. Midnight. The photo on the shelf had changed. It wasn't my family. I don't even have one. It was him, the other me, smiling. And in the reflection of the glass, I swear, I saw him standing right behind me.